welcome to the pre-season race for LOE Season 3. We are looking at the second division of this league, and we have a good grid of 18 drivers here to tackle the famous Silverstone circuit that opened the Formula 1 Championship way back in 1950. I'm joined by another fellow QVR member, not the best segue I will admit, but it is Mr. QVR Verstappen. How you doing, mate?
Hello, everyone, and yeah, welcome. Yeah, I'm doing quite well.
Lovely.
Just let's see. Gonna be an interesting race, I reckon. Just a chance for everyone to see and compare their pace to their competitors and their teammates as well, of course. Yeah, we're in for an exciting one.
Yeah, Silverstone usually wants to produce a good race, so a grid of 18 drivers here, as mentioned earlier. D2 grid this season is incredibly competitive, as can be said for all the divisions in the League of Europe. Because, as has been pointed out before, it is the it's the only division in the league that has drivers from the old Division 1, the old Division 2, the old Division 3, and brand new rookies to the league. So we've got a big mix here, drivers from all backgrounds coming together to make what should be a grid that produces some great races. So I'm really looking forward to see how these guys get on in this pre-season race.
Yeah, definitely. Certain Irishman is up to the line now to start his lap. So let's see how it goes on.
Yeah, big Irishman Gary Donegan, who of course coming down from Division 1 last season after a very disappointing season. He's actually, so far he's proved to be quite up to the challenge of D2. He's been really impressing in practice, I can say. So let's see how he's able to get on here up to the first sector split. Does a 27.2, pretty decent going through there. See going into Brooklyn's fourth gear, managing that throttle into the left field, turns it in nicely, clipping that curb, runs it out wide, and then try and grab his very good traction on the exit there. And now down towards Cops, and of course nearly flat out in 7th gear. He's going to go small left on the entry, pins it on exit there. And of course these guys might not be in the top division, but believe me, they are very, very quick drivers. Now going through Marriotts, Beckett's and Chapel, very close to the inside curb and almost invalidating, but I think it's just about good. Now tuck in the slipstream, get out from the McLaren of B Morgan there. He does a 102.9 through the first two sectors. What can Gary do? Of course it is a banker lap, so maybe not expecting him to go spectacularly quick, running a little bit wide going through Stowe. It's a line that a lot of drivers do quite like to use, but within the track limits for some reason of the game. But anyway, Gary up to the line for banker lap of 26.6. That's pretty impressive. Gary Donegan goes to the top of the timesheets for now. Let's see if anyone's able to topple that.
Let's see, I think McCrew come to the line. He puts in 127.3, decent lap. I think this is a guy who's new to the league, is he?
Relatively new, yeah, he is. He's got more times coming in. 127.6 from Andrew, 127.8 from Dylan. Nico goes in about half a second behind his teammate Gary, really setting the standard. So far in this session, we're seeing quick times in there, down with a 27 flat, but ultimately none of them getting close to the man set by the mark set by the Irishman. So currently he's looking very impressive. As we're just going to look, see if anyone is on a lap. Cookie's going towards the police, just about to start his lap. Matty G exits the final corner here. The Mercedes man goes up to the line. Does he 27.1? Goes in the top 4. So he announces himself to the league and fairly well, makes a pretty good account of himself there, going just behind Nico there. So got 11 times in so far. Bit of a field spread, but we'll see if bunch up potentially later on in the session. But currently Gary looking very impressive out front.
Definitely. Can't seem to find anyone on that lap right now.
Yeah, looks like the first round of laps could be over. Seen Maledictus has backed off a lap. Looks like he's going again. Morgan has just started a lap, so we'll go on board with him there. Of course, last season's runner-up in Division 2, and he's a very quick driver of himself, but he runs very wide, going through turn 3, and again locking up into turn 4, this time making the apex, grabbing traction then on exit there, going through the DRS line, and in overtake mode, going down towards Brooklands. Very tough corner actually. We'll try and do a late apex there, miss the first one, cut in, take the second one, and now sweep it in to left field. Don't go too aggressive on the brakes, the car may slide out on you, and Morgan's able to pick up relatively cleanly. And now he begins to march on down towards Cops. Fantastic corner. Of course, this is just a set of spectacular high speed stuff. Bolero left again, going through the apex there, picks it back up. He's running quite low in his ERS. We'll see if he's able to hold that one out on the brakes. Gets very close to that inside curve again. I think he should be fine. And now sweeping through Chapel, opens up the throttle on exit. It's a 103.8, so there's still some time to find for him as he's going to run very low on his ERS. As currently we've got 18 viewers in the stream. Wow, really good response for you guys. Great to see D2 getting a lot of love here. Of course, the Division 4 stream will also be on. You're feel free to check that one out. Morgan round the final corner of the lap, opens up the throttle, and he does a 127.8. So not the best lap, relatively speaking, from Morgan. I'm sure they want more, but of course he's got 11 minutes to try and improve on that one.
The Rebel of Maledictus goes into P9 with 127.5 as Harry. I'm not going to try and pronounce that name, sorry.
I think every commentator's been there that's commentated one of his races.
Right, which is calm, Harry. You just gone up into P3, just a 100th of a second behind RT Dan. So, impressive lap so far.
Yeah, not many flyers going on right now. A lot of drivers on their outlet. See someone that's close to starting a lap. I'm just trying to pick someone up here, to be honest. I think Jacob's coming out of Chapel. He might
close.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him because I think he's going to be the next guy that's on a flyer. A bit of a quieter point in the session. This.
I have to check, but I think you're correct on that. Yeah, you are.
Of course, the Season 1 champion there came fourth in Season 2. He's a bit of a veteran in the second division of this league. Wasn't far away from moving up to Division 1 in both of his runs, but now he's got a chance to rejuvenate himself, maybe try and regain that championship from Season 1, and now his season begins here. Well, not officially, but of course now he's going to be able to see how he stacks up against the top of this league. Bit on that inside curb, going through turn 3, 4, a little bit nicer there, flicks it into second gear, now grab that traction on exit, and it over the DRS line now as he goes onto the Wellington straight, just under halfway through this session at this stage. Jekyll 27.2 first sector, flicks it in, clips that curb on the inside, late apex through Brooklands, runs wide in the middle of the left field to cut in and get the exit, up into 4 short shifting, get the best traction you can. Of course, we'll see if he's able to get anywhere near that mark set by Gary Donegan, who still sets 4 tenths clear at the top of the timesheets. The first lap of the session, still the best one, and a lot of apex speed going through Cops from Jekyll. He's able to keep it nice and clean there as well, and keeps it in 7th gear. For Beckett's now, flicks it in, and now for Chapel, tries to keep his, it's all about the exit speed out of this, keeps it 5th gear, runs out onto the curb on the exit. That's what you want to do, to try and get as much momentum as possible down the hangar straight now. There's a car in front, hopefully he doesn't interfere with the lap too badly. McCrew just ahead of him as Jekyll looks to try and get a good exit coming off of Stowe. The Williams gets out of the way there, so he's got free to push it through these nasty corners, clips the curb on the inside of Vale and in the inside of Club, and now round the final corner. What's it for Jekyll? It's a 26.6. He just goes to the top of the timesheets by 100th ahead of Gary Donegan. Can Gary respond to that, and can anyone else in this session get to that time? We'll see.
Very impressive lap indeed from the RT guy, and yeah, that'll be a new mark to beat for the rest of the drivers. I think Nico might be close to finishing a lap.
Yep, Nico coming through Vale now, exiting the final major traction zone on the track, flooring it to the line. It's a 26.8. He puts himself into P3 and within sight of those top 2. So currently the main contenders are beginning to separate themselves, but still the whole field covered by just over a second. Maybe not anymore, as Dan pops in the fastest lap. Of course, he led the D2 championship for some way last season, and he pops himself to the top, about half a tenth clear of Jayco, a big rival of his. So yeah, Dan proving himself also to be up there. Currently we've got 5 drivers now in the 26s. Dan currently top, still a long way to go though.
Let's see if anyone can get close to Dan. At least J. Cole and Gary are in the 10th, as I think that's through.
Yeah, I
think out of Chapel, as Mark gets up into P4 with 26.848.
It's a lot of the more experienced drivers actually near the top of the timesheets here. Maybe showing the the new blood how it's done so far in this session, but of course a lot can change in the next 7 minutes, and that's what we're all looking forward to. But again, the field still remarkably close. The top 13 are covered by less than a second. This was the same in D1 as well, just remarkably close in all divisions this season. Well, I'm really looking forward to it.
Definitely. The gap from RLT Dan to Super Gamer in P11 is like just 5.5 tenths.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd how close this field is. And there's still, of course, some quick guys. Cookie Games, Callum, Killer, they've not even set laps yet. And I think we've got Callum, who I believe is a new driver. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. And we'll see how he gets on. Yeah. So we'll see how Toro Rossman gets on in his first official flying lap in this league. Hopefully he's able to complete it. No invalidations, please. And there we go, now turning in to the village, I believe it is. Now down on the brakes, flexing into second gear, exiting, trying to get as good of exit as you can to carry it all the way through onto the Wellington straight up into 7th gear. Shifting up very early, I must say, but here we go now, getting on the brakes. Ed to Brooklands, flex it in 4th gear. Now trying to open it back up. Killer Blue has been disqualified. He's gone. I've just seen it. It's happened down at turn 3, and I'm not sure what's going on with him there. But he is out of the session. So
I think he might have spun and just got back on track, or had to avoid someone or anything like that.
Of course, Keller, an absolute veteran of the league, and that's not a good way to kick off his season with a disqualification in qualifying. We'll see if he's able to march forward in the race itself. Callum through the second sector in 1 minute 3.3. We'll see if he's able to pick it up there in this last sector and put himself up there with some of the more established faces in the league. I went through now. Of course, now we've got 7 drivers in the 26s, so it's a high standard. Bit wide round Vale for Callum, and it might just compromise his run all the way through. Now opens it back up towards the line. He does a 27.4. It's not a bad time by any means, but in this competition, he's going to have to find a little bit more than that. Currently sets a P13 for Callum. Room to improve for sure, as we see. Just the standard ridiculously high here in Division 2.
Insane. I think like predictions for the championship are just not being able to be made at this time. Like I reckon there could have been some competitions where you could just see someone clearly being the favorites. Well, that's definitely not the case here.
I wouldn't even say it's the case in any of the divisions, to be honest. Like, it's great to see though for the league the way we've been able to grow, and now we're getting into the point where every division is so tough to call. With, established faces, new blood, and it's that kind of mix of experience versus experience versus the fresh talent, all coming together in this division. And we're seeing it all come together, and quite a beautiful session so far. We're seeing such close times, and it could get even closer. Who knows?
Yeah, let's see as everyone's just going out for their final run now. Bit of a quiet one now. I think Nico might be.
Yeah, I'm on board with Nico. Actually, he's just started his lap. Indeed, if Verstappen, you want to take us through this as he navigates this Silverstone circuit.
He comes to the sector 1 split with a 27.1, which is a great time. Just flies it into left field there to get a good exit once more. A lot of curb and exit speed there. Let's see, takes up to cups now. Holds it in 7th gear, takes the straightest line as possible. Did not invalidate. As coming up to Maggots and Beckett and Chapel as well now. Holds back to 7th, back to 5th. and gets a good exit. And this looked like a great lap so far.
3/10 up.
1:02. That's a good improvement for him. He'd be on for P1 at the moment. And let's see, comes into 5th, flies in his toe. Not too wide on the exit. Great line. Has a bit of a mess going out in front of that, but it comes to flop now. We're in the final corner. Let's see where this lap puts him. As he's going to
1,000!
1,000th of a second.
Wow! You can't get physically any closer than that. Dan's going to have to respond to that. Nico coming up from D3 and shoving it in the former D2 driver's faces, says beat that. 26.5 goes off track. He's happy with that. But of course, still a lot can change in the dying moments of this session. We'll see. Adri has just started a lap. We'll go on board with him. The D3 champion has just seen his rival and compatriot go to the top of the timesheets. He's 6/10 down. Got to try and find a bit of time there. Going through turn 3 and now turn 4. Flicks it in. Gets it in second gear. Bit of hesitant on the turn then, but it's a good exit coming off the corner now for the Renault man. Up onto the DRS now. Wellington straight. Looking up and down the timesheets to see if drivers improving now. It's 27.3 going through the first sector, but it is an improvement. Right on the curb on the inside of Brooklands. Hopefully not invalid for him. Gets a nice line through Luffield, middle of the track, swips it back in, fighting the car a little bit on exit, trying to push the throttle as much as he can, because, you know, of course, these little improvements could make the difference. Even just 1/10 for him is pushing him up 2 positions. Flies it through Cops, good apex speed, and good exit speed as well. As I have a bit of a brain fade there. We'll move back on from that. He's trying to set up his exit from the corner there. Gets a good run off of Chapel now, and we'll see he's 2.5 up there. This is looking good for him. He can put himself up around about where Mark is there, getting a good slipstream from the back of Callum as well. Now flies it in, flick it into still a little bit of an early turn in there. It's going to compromise his exit slightly, but he's still looking at a good leg. Nico's retired from P1. He's happy with that. I think he is backed off and he's going for another one. So Adri not improving on that run, and he's going to have to go again. We'll see if anyone else is on the flyer.
Let's see. Jekyll might be at the end of his lap. Let's see.
Jekyll now up to the line. It's a 26.3, huge lap from Jekyll. And of course the former champion sets down a marker 2.5 clear of Nico. Wow, Jekyll putting out a statement. That's quicker than quite a lot of the D1 drivers.
Yeah. Gary doesn't seem to be able to make anything out of that. Look, a lot of drivers.
Dylan up to the line, and he does not improve. Adri up the gravel. Maledictus coming down the back straight. He's backed off as well. And a lot of drivers having fairly disastrous sessions in the end there. I believe Dan, where's Dan? He's coming through Maggots and Beckett's now. Where's Jaco? I don't think he'll be improving on that time. Dan gets a bit out of shape going through Beckett's, able to save it though. Where is he in regards to his time? He's just slightly up. He's going to need a huge last sector. He should go ahead of Nico if he keeps clean. But Jaco is a whole other story. Now flicks it in to Stowe. Good apex speed. Runs it out wide onto the curb. What can he do now? Break and prevail. Spot it nicely. And now clips the curb on the inside and runs it right over the curb on the outside. And what's it going to be? He slams the curb going through, and that costs him a chance of P2. Dan crashing over the line. Harry does not improve. Adri's not going to improve. I think that's going to spell an end to this session with Jaco with a huge pole position, 2.5 clear. Well, he's going to take some beating in the race.
Definitely. It's a very impressive lap from the Renault driver. Just point out, the top 13 is within a second. And with 2 guys not even setting a lap, and with a few other guys outside of that top 13 we know are quite quick, this could shape up to be a very interesting race.
Looking forward to this one. As Larkin puts out one of his greatest puns of all time with J-Pole. Thank you so much. We always appreciate the puns. We're all laughing our heads off here. Anyway, Verstappen, if you want to run through the qualifying order after that session.
Yeah, it's J. Cole taking pole ahead of Nico, and Dan and Gary on the second row. Super Gamer and Mark lining up behind that on the third row. Matty G and Dylan taking it for 7th and 8th place on the grid. Carmentalist and Callum ran out the top 10. Harry, Adri, McCrew and Big W, Maledictus, B Morgan, Cookie Games and Killer Blue will be rounding off the grids today at the British Grand Prix.
Yeah, so just looking at the performances, some of the D3 drivers moving up. Nico performing, well, quite substantially better than the others there. Of course, it's not a huge margin in time that he's beaten them by, but in terms of positions on the front row, he'll be delighted with that. Gary qualified in P4. His banker lap was actually ended up being his fastest lap, so he'll be disappointed. I think he has more to offer in this race, and I, for one, very excited to see that one. So yeah, we've got a lot of course, again, it's a massive mix-up of backgrounds on this grid, but we're seeing, again, the field very close in qualifying, and hopefully very close in this race, and most importantly, clean in this race. So yeah, we're waiting for the drivers to ready up. Well, I'll come to you, Verstappen. Who's your money on?
It's gonna be difficult, but I'm gonna take a surprise here and say it's gonna be Nico winning this.
Interesting. Of course, D3 driver made a great account of himself in qualifying. For me, I'm gonna say his teammate, Mr. Gary Donegan. His car's not really loading in for me, but yeah, Gary. I know from practicing with him, he has crazy pace around this circuit, and I think he didn't exactly put it together in quali, but I think for once in his life he's going to put it together in the race and score a win. But we'll see. Of course, a lot of different drivers in contention, and in the end it could come down to incidents or battling or whatever factors come into it. But J. Cole is starting from the best spot, pole position, as he leads them away in this formation lap.
Almost everyone outside of the top 10 except Cookie Games is on the mediums for the start of the race. So they'll be trying the reverse strategy of medium to softs, while the normal strategy is obviously soft to medium. We'll see how that pans out. We saw on D1 Alpha Trix making it work from the last place of grid, so
yeah.
Don't count Killer Blue out just yet. Anyone's in contention for this one.
Yeah, in a division as tight as this one. But yeah, so Cookie on those softs, he's going to be one to look out for if he wants to make that strategy work. He is going to have to make up places at the start, but if you get too eager, you can get involved in incidents, so he's got to measure his effort correctly. But just looking back here, of course, Nico in P2, a lot of people have biggie up, you know, he's improved so much as of late, and he's showed it here against the incredibly talented D2 grid, popping it on the front row with Jaco, a very experienced and quick driver. And Dan, of course, with a pretty solid performance as well. He'll probably kick himself for not being able to come through on that final lap, but he's still up there. And I know, if you know Dan, he's always better in the race than he is in quali, so don't count him out either.
One thing for certain, it's going to be probably a very good race, and hopefully some clean battles. They're all lined up for the grid right now. Getting this underway as soon as Killer Blue has lined up at the back of the grid. I'm not seeing Cookie Games still going on there. Rolling his car to the grid.
As the last cars settle on the grid, we get ready for what should be an enthralling race at Silverstone. It's Jekyll on the front with Nico alongside him there. We're building up. We got 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the British Grand Prix. Nico on the inside getting a pretty good start. Dan trying to push it 3 wide, trying to go 3 wide into turn 1 for the lead though. Side by side, a couple of marks off the track. Wait there. Super Gamer's jumped up all the way up to P3. Great start from him as he goes side by side with Gary Donegan. There's contact. Spinning round is Gary and a couple of others as well. Contact down at turn 3. Mark trying to make up positions as well in that midfield, but it is Jekyll and Dan who make that breakaway, getting through the carnage as the Force Indias, or sorry, the Racing Points going through. And Cookie Games with an absolutely unbelievable start. He's already up to P6.
Where's he come from? From P17.
What? That is one of the best starts I've ever seen. Incredible. More battling going down the field. Hannah Morgan and Andrew lock side by side. Nico dropping places. Looks like he may have damage, or he's just been caught out on this opening lap. He's going to try and go back at Matty G there with Carmentalist just ahead. He tucks in. Matty G backs off. Nico up into P8 from a poor start from him. But it is Mark. Of course, they've got a lot of cars with damage. It looks like Mark may have a little bit of damage to the end plate. It's hard to tell with that Haas car.
I think I saw something flying off his car into turn 3, so...
Yeah. But Cookie Games, what a start from him. Up 11 positions on this first lap.
And he's Mark here as well.
Looks to the outside there, going to Stowe. Not quite. I know, Mark though runs wide. That low downforce that he's got from that front wing is going to be costing him there as Carmental looks to the outside of the field. Huge dive from Nico up the inside, and as he grabbed a couple of places, a bit of contact down there. Nico up to 6th though, and Mark is round. Oh, terrible start to this race for him. Just, yeah,
I think he suffered from that contact, yeah. So.
Yeah, it was a big dive from Nico, and I think that just set them all in a bit of chaos.
Let's see, Cookie Games. And Cookie Games is round.
Oh no!
Dived on Dylan, and yeah, just gonna make it work.
Gary avoiding his car as he recovers. So yeah, a lot of carnage in these opening laps. Hard for it to really know where to look right now as the field's still pretty bunched up.
One person who has got through it, Killer Blue, who's up into P8.
Great start from him as well. Of course, on those mediums, he's overtaken a lot of other medium runners, but he too, I believe, has damage there. If you just look at that on his left end plate. I'm not sure if that's just visual, but I'm not sure. But anyway, the battle at the front, heating up there. Super Gamer has done well to get into that podium position, but he's a bit off these top two, who look like they're going to go to war here, as Jaco gets way out of shape going through Beckett's, and that gives Dan that opportunity that he wants. Here we go now. The guys that have been fighting for the championship these last 2 seasons, now they go at it there. To the inside goes Dan towards Stowe. Can he get it on the brakes? No, he's going to sit back and look for another move another time. Nico on his comeback continues. He's up behind Dylan there. Pulls to the inside, and more commitment from him into Stowe. No, he's not able to get through it, but it looks like Super Gamer, it's Dylan, sorry. He might have damage as well. A lot of ailing cars out there on track at the moment, and Nico, even though he lost places, he looks like he was still able to get through safely, as behind him Maledictus and Adri side by side through Club, and Adri eventually has to yield that one, and he drops behind McCrew as well, the Williams driver making ground early on. But further up the field, Nico close to Dylan, not quite close enough. Carmentalist right there as well, and the Ferrari with Aaron Ward behind him as well, the top medium runner in this race. He's doing well out there as well, but he's got Killer Blue not far behind him, trying to make up ground, as we've got a couple of cars in the pits at the end of the second lap there. It looks like Carmentalist might be the first one to shape up a move. Moves to the outside of Nico, but Nico's going to dive it into Brooklands, gets the move done on Dylan. Good move from him, and Carmentalist follows through into Luffield. Can he make it stick on the exit? Yes, he can. Dylan gets hooked on that curb, but he's able to stay ahead of Harren Warg. Up ahead though, Jaco and Dan, these guys going at it. Yellows in sector 2, someone round, that is Big W at Luffield. So chaos in these opening laps, but still the top two go at it. Jaco half a second clear of ILRT Dan.
Well, let's see. Made it. Maledictus has gone through, and I'll be looking to catch up as soon as possible, as he got McCrew though.
Ooh.
Quite close behind him. So Maledictus takes the tight end from Chapel. McCrew looks at down the inside.
Car off, it's Dylan. Dylan off up ahead after that great start. Harry, he drops back.
Harry has lost his front wing.
Harry, oh, he's gone completely, and he's going to have to pull quickly into that pit lane.
That might have explained why
may have been an
Dylan
incident,
was
yeah.
there.
We are missing quite a lot, lads, but to be honest, there's so much going on there, it's hard to keep up. Carmental's hassling the back of Eloy. Nico is forced to go defensive into turn 3. Is there going to be a follow-up here? Down the Wellington straight, we're going to have to see. Dan looks like he's not quite close enough. Oh, poor exit off of turn 4 for Nico. This could be the dagger in the heart here. Here comes Carmentalist. He's got that DRS. And is he going to pull to the outside or the inside? Goes inside there. Nico doesn't look like he's going to fight it too hard. Instead, he opts for a switchback out of Brooklands into Luffield. Round the outside. No, Carmentalist able to dictate that line. And he gets through. Speaking of getting through, Cookie Games past Adri as well, trying to make up ground. After such a good start and then the spin, going for an ambitious move, he's trying to make some distance in this race. So now Killer Blue is the top medium runner But he has damage, and he's coming under heavy pressure from Maledictus. Take over Verstappen.
Let's see. Maledictus just gotta line this up and try and get this as he picks up a time penalty. He's gotta be careful with that through Maggotts and Beckett's. As McCrew is looking behind as well. As
Maledictus wide.
Gets for the grass a bit. McCrew looks to be the one to actually make a move here. Tries to run the outside of Maledictus. Let's see. Can he make that stick? Looks like he can still side by side. Bit of contact, but it's just will Maledictus. That's really early. He might have damaged then.
I'm not sure. As he gets up a penalty for his troubles there, spinning in the pit lane. Up ahead, Dan trying to keep up with J. Cole. J. Cole has showed immense pace at this circuit, and he's really pouring it on out in front. Still the battle rages on for P4 between Nico and Carmentos. They're still close on track as a Big W gains a couple of places on pitting cars. Now, McCrew versus Killer Blue. Exit of turn 4 there. Can he pick it up there down the way of the straight? Opens up that DRS now, but is he going to be close enough? I'm not sure. Killer, of course, does have that damage, so McCrew looking potentially for a move. It's a bit too far back though if he wants it. Now cutting that inside curb there, getting very close, runs it out way. He's looking for that exit, try and pick up that throttle on exit of Luffield, and still very, very close. I've got quite a lot of early pit stops in this race. We only got the top 10 that haven't came in yet, as McCrew has a little look at Keller, forces him a little bit wide going through Cops, and Yellows in sector 1. I think that's been contact there because Callum and Adria both lost out. I think they've came together and Callum lets him through, so I feel like there may have been some contact between them as Keller gets very wide out of Chapel. This could be the moment that McCrew was waiting for. Straight pass on the hanger straight, no messing about. McCrew up into P6, and he's made the most of the opportunities he's got. Top medium runner now, and he's got to try and push on, make that strategy work. 5.5 behind Carmentalist.
Let's see, Arletty then, just keeping up with J. Cole. He was close like that as Killer Blue is in the pits. I suspect he's gonna go to Hart, because Hart picked up a time penalty. Let's see, there's Yellows in sector 2. Anyone who's at position 4? I think Maledictus might have made a mistake. Yeah, might have made a mistake. Arletty then, not close enough for a move here on the Renault driver.
But he is threatening, which is a positive thing for him. Of course, J. Cole was 2.5 tenths quicker in that quali session, and Dan very much keeping him on as a DRS will help him out in that regard. And now he's got to try and work his car through the dirty air here in these high speed corners if he wants to have a go into Stowe potentially. That's the best overtaking spot left on the track, besides Vale maybe. Watch it now as he navigates it there, having to back off a little bit, going through Beckett's. J. Cole, he's got to rely on a bad exit from J. Cole, and he might have just got it. Dan, very clean, going through the corner of Chapel there, and he's going to try and close it in. He's got that DRS, the rear wing open, but I don't think he's close enough. No, doesn't quite come off. Meanwhile, Nico holding off Carmentalist behind. As more battling as Gary trying to make progress there. He's just up ahead of Matty G. Then Dylan, and then Killer holding up a group of cars behind him there. Still a lot of battles on track there. It has spread out a little bit though. There's gaps between drivers for a lot of incidents in this race so far, but it's still J. Cole and Dan leading the way.
Let's see. It does look like McCrew. What? Am I mistaken, or has he just lost a lot of time? I might be mistaken there, because Killer Blue was, of course, ahead of him.
Yeah, well now he's...
Yeah, now 6 seconds behind Commentalist.
Yeah, he has definitely lost a lot of time, but he is, of course, on a slower tyre, so you can't excuse him for that, I suppose. But yeah, he is coming under pressure, though, from Cookie Games, who also has damage on his left end plate. See, like, the contact down at turn 1 has really put off the races, offset them for quite a few of the drivers here, which isn't of course great to see, but we've still got some battles on track. Hopefully we see side by side racing up and down to come. Jacob looks like he's done enough on this lap, or has he? Dan is closing in within 4 tenths. It's going to take a bit of a ballsy dive, and he's not going to do that at this stage of the race. Dan holds back for now. Further back, can Cookie do anything? Of course, that dirty air definitely not helping him through the exit. McCruz looks like he's done enough. Nico's also done enough to hold off Carmentos. Runs very wide, though, going through Stowe. It's Dan trying to put that pressure on, but Jaco holding firm at the moment now, lap 8.
Let's see. Then the two main overtaking opportunities here are, of course, Stowe and Brooklyn says. Needs to be trying to line it up out of turn 4 or out of, yeah, Chapel basically. Try and get Jekyll there, because I don't see it happening anywhere else.
No, but it's that thing, right? He's following our car, a lot of high-speed corners around the circuit. Silverstone's a track where it's quite easy to keep up with the car. It's quite hard to set up big overtaking opportunities. And you saw in the D1 race where cars were around a train, but not many overtakes were exactly happening.
No, you have to be on a faster tire to actually overtake.
Pretty much,
then
yeah.
You were struggling. You can just see how much more speed Jekyll has taken through this section than Dan, but Dan has the better exit out of this.
See if he's able to make anything happen. 3.5 tenths. Yellows in sector 2.
Close.
No, he's not close enough. I'm not too sure. He might be.
Brooklyn's this. Saw yellow. So.
Jaco pits. Both of the leaders into the pit lane on lap 8 of this race. So let's see if anything happens. I'm just checking the ERS levels of both the cars. Dan, maybe he's been holding back because he's got much more, almost 80% compared to Jacob's 35.
Nico's the only one of the 5 staying, and he's trying the overcut because he's pushing on with the fastest lap of the race, 130.7.
Nico trying to really work that now, and I'm watching to see Dan has been held in the pit slightly, I think, because he's dropped back just that bit from Jaco. Gap is 2 seconds according to the Delta, so that's not what he would have wanted. We'll see if Big W, who's staying out a bit longer on that strategy, he could be out in amongst that. He's going to be a few seconds ahead of the leaders, but Jaco winning out through that pit lane phase. He's now a good 2.5 seconds clear of Dan.
Yeah, it looks like our lucky Dan has lost some time in the pit stop. Otherwise you wouldn't be losing 2 seconds.
Certainly not. Closest battle on track right now seems to be behind Killer. We've got Mark and Maledictus both setting up
as Cookie just comes out of the pits there.
And he comes out side by side with Killer. Doesn't quite come off. He's got to try and get through as soon as possible. Hits Killer in the back, I think, going through turn 4. As Mark has a mistake. Maybe been hit by Maledictus because he has been back.
Yes.
So here we go now.
Cookie Games
looking for that move. Down the inside, into Brooklyn. He's got to be late on the brakes there, and he does. Sealing that move. And Killer gets a switchback on him, but there's no way through on the exit. And Dan has already sliced into that lead for Jekyll a little bit. His race pace does seem very promising.
Super Gamer's off.
Super Gamer out, and he retires from the session there. Better luck for the Mercedes man, who was having a pretty solid race up to that point. It does promote Carmentalist, I believe, into an EP3, depending on where Nico comes out. And Nico just coming into his box now.
Let's see how the overcut works out for the Spaniard. Jacobs now crossing the line.
I'm just watching.
Was around Carmentalist, right?
Yeah, he was just ahead of Carmentalist.
Let's see.
Keeping him behind. Carmentalist, does he get the undercut? Doesn't look like it. No, Nico is just able to stay afloat at the front of this race. Can he give it? Jaco, penalty.
The exit of turn 5 that was.
Has a penalty, and there's no overtake onto Big W into Brooklands, and now that could hold him up there. He's got to try and get past quickly, or Dan can make severe inroads into that gap. Carmentalist is not close enough to Nico, and Nico now has that 1 lap fresher tyres. Can he establish a gap? Jaco side by side with Big W and pulls through. I don't think Big W is willing to fight that one too hard. Jaco gets through. He has lost a little bit of time, but not too much. He gets through into P2 on track. Still net P1.
Let's see. I mean, we're close battles. Cookie Games and Killer Blue are side by side once again. The out of left field are coming. Killer Blue holding quite tightly on those hearts.
Killer giving it a good fight. They're going to go side by side towards Cops. One of them has to yield, and it is going to be Killer, I think. Cookie though, slow on the apex. There could be a fight back here. Outside into Magnus Beckett. He's going to go for it. Wheel to wheel. No, he packs out of it. Thank the Lord. As Car Mentalist has got moved on Nico down the hangar straight. So despite the one lap fresh tires, Nico unable to hold that one for now. Down the inside. Late move. And Nico, wow, I'm surprised he even went for that. It seems like a bit of a rushed move, but he's able to stop it at least, putting Car Mentalist off. Almost reckless there from Nico. He seems to be frustrated at this point. He's still chasing a podium though. These guys, you know, maybe not expecting to be up in these kind of positions, but Car Mentalist holding on well. Nico though is all over him. He's looking to get that way past.
Sorry, that T-Dan has just got past Big W, and he'll be looking to get that gap down to Jekyll.
Gap still sits at about 2 seconds. Here comes Nico now. He's coming back at Car Mentalist. Car Mentalist does not cover the inside line. Nico very late on the brakes. They make a bit of contact wheel to wheel, but he is able to get it there. Nico being very feisty with these moves. They're trying to prove himself against these older D2 guys. Car Mentalist though is still there. Outside towards Cop. Surely not. Surely not. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Through the apex, Nico has to yield. Great comeback there from Car Mentalist. He keeps that lead. Up at the front, Jekyll, that gap just under 2 seconds to Dan. There's going to be a long road ahead for these guys in this race, but it's ILRT battle rages on. Dan trying to close that gap down to Jekyll. Gap 1.7 seconds.
Let's see, one man who can't be counted as of a podium spot just yet is McCrew. He's on the reverse strategy, trying to make it work and try and go on to the softs at the end of the race.
Gary Donegan up behind B Morgan there towards Stone. No move into the corner. Morgan covering that inside line. I believe he gets a good run out the corner there to the outside of Vale. Now it's going to be on the brakes. He's able to outbrake the McLaren. Sweeps around the outside. Great move from Gary on his comeback. Runs a bit deep on the exit, but there's no fight back from Morgan. Gary able to seal that one. Nico and Car Mentalist, that battle still going on. Nico sending it on the brakes, trying to get as close as possible for the Wellington straight. In terms of ERS, Nico with a very slender advantage. Both these guys sitting around about 40% in that regard. Now the gap closes. Is he going to send it from distance? Car Mentalist covering the inside a little bit more aggressively this time. Nico no move this time. He's going to try and set him up for later. Dan and Jekyll, they're so evenly matched in terms of race pace. That pit stop phase might have given Jekyll this, although he does have that penalty. You can't forget that. So Dan, at the moment, in the position that he needs to be in to try and get this race when it's all said and done. So Jekyll has got to try and pull that gap out. Gap 1.7. It's holding steady, but he needs to try and pull that out if he wants this win.
Let's see Nico's
offline.
Mentalist has the exit advantage over Nico as Gary Donegan picked up the time penalty. And let's see.
No
Nico
way through.
Just not close enough. Runs a bit wide. He can't be making a move. He's too far off here. Yeah. One thing I like to point out is the Killer Blue Trainers March just trying to break the through though. Down inside of Stowe, and it looks like
gets it
easily passed.
Killer Blue has been giving these guys a really good fight, okay, all things considered, given the tire disadvantage, but he runs very wide into Vale, and Maledictus is shaping up a move, but he too runs wide, coming off the corner. Nico is closer to Car Mentalist this time. Car Mentalist searches for a good exit, and he seems to have got it there. He's broken away a little bit as I'm getting a terrible camera angle. Here we go. Nico closing in. Car Mentalist knows the danger, covers the inside. Dummy from Nico to the inside though, and has he got it? The switchback might be there for Car Mentalist. He draws back alongside into Luffield, but I think Nico's got that covered. Yes, good move from him. He's up into a net P3, but of course McCrew can still threaten him. As Killer Blue...
Most not close enough. What's happened to Killer Blue? He's got severe damage.
Oh, must have got involved in an incident there. Maybe with Maledictus, I'm not sure. Maybe with Mark. But that is setting back after a great defensive drive so far. Car Mentalist, can he hit back against Nico? He gets another good exit off of Chapel. This is what's been really benefiting him. Now he's got the run. Is Nico going to cover into Stowe? He doesn't particularly aggressively. So Car Mentalist able to sweep down the inside and take that P5 off of Nico. But Nico gets a great exit up to the outside towards Vale. He's going to have to go late on the brakes, which he does. He's going to have to hold it around the outside, which he does, and get the exit, which he does. Nico back up to P5. These guys just swapping. Great racing between these two, and it doesn't look it's going to be over anytime soon.
Just want to point out the gap between P2 and P3 is almost down to seconds.
Very, very tasty now in this battle there. Dan, of course, he's the one that's, you know, Jekyll's the one that's got to be pulling out that gap, but at the moment it's not quite happening. Is there going to be a comeback here from Carmentalist? He is close to Nico once again. Neither of these guys able to shake the other up. Carmentalist gaining. Does it go for the inside though? Nico, does he run wide? No, he does well to defend that one off and keep the Ferrari behind for now. Nico now, he's low on ERS compared to Carmentalist. He's got to try and pull out that gap. So, but really, unable to shake him, as Dylan now up into the back of the Morgan. The two McLarens coming together on the track.
Let's see. He can't be making an overtake into cups here. Definitely not if he doesn't have a major exit advantage. The Carmentalist is gonna look and try and make a move up onto the hangar straight.
Again,
does look like the exits.
Yeah, once again, Carmentalist getting a better exit than Nico. Nico, he's taking it down. He's actually put his ERS down to none, so he's not fighting that one. Carmentalist moves back up into P5, and there's no fight back this time from Nico. So Carmentalist now securing that place. But these guys still right together on track. As Dylan has a look at Morgan into Stowe. Morgan runs a bit wide there. Could the fight back here? And Stubby to the inside from Dylan. There's a bit of lag on my screen, but he's found that inside line. Morgan, though, with the switchback, is going to go back around him there. Morgan, the last season's runner-up, trying to get used to the wheel now. That's why he's a bit off his usual pace. Dylan, though, comes back at him. These guys back and forth. Great racing. To the inside goes Dylan, and yes, he does get that place ahead of Morgan. Morgan this time has no answer. Great racing between those two McLarens there in that battle for P8.
Let's see, speaking about great racing, Nico and Carmentalist has been going on at it pretty much his whole race already. Nico will be trying. He's looked like he's saved some ERS, and he'll be looking to get it, I reckon, down into Stowe. The way he's been shaping it up right now. Carmentalist gets a good run though. Nico needs to be careful for the dirty air here.
Gotta try and measure his effort right. He's a bit out of shape again. And it's Chapel where Carmentalist always gets the advantage as McCrew pits from the lead. He's trying to reverse strategy here. He's done well actually, staying well away from the leaders. The net leaders, I should say. So we'll see where he comes out and if he's able to make inroads and possibly even fight for the podium. Who knows? McCrew in. Let's see where he emerges.
Let's see. I think it's going to be somewhere between the two racing points. Looking down this, maybe even further. I think around Gary.
Yeah, Gary's coming around the corner. I think it's going to be quite close there. McCrew is going to start accelerating right now, but Gary's already passed him through turn 1. Yellow's in sector 3. Dylan's gone. Dylan's slow down the main straight.
Yeah, he's got damage. I'm not sure how much or what happened. That's real unfortunate for the McLaren there, as Nico once again. Dylan has got a 10-second time penalty, just right there. Nico's once again looking close to Carmentalist, but can he get the exit of Chapel right this time? Real task right now.
They both close in on the Williams, a big W, who I expect to be coming into the pits. Further back though, Maledictus going side by side with Mark. Mark tried it into Luffield. It's not quite come off though, I don't think. He might still get the run into Cops. It'd be a very ambitious move if he wants it. And he pulls towards the inside, has a look, but I don't think he's going to go for that Mark for sensible driver, I know that much. But now, exit, down the hangar straight. Don't think it's going to be close enough for Nico. He needs to rely on his exit speed coming off the corner if he wants to move into Vale. He's still very, very far back as Big W pulls into the pits ahead. No move for Nico, but Carmentalist misses the apex, tries to save it on the exit and actually does very, very well. Nico's not crawling over all over the back of them. Still, the battle rages on now for the podium, now on track. So the stakes just go up that little bit as Morgan also peels into the pits. Nico though beginning to threaten, dives it, taps Carmentalist. Oh no, they come together. Nico just too ambitious, must have missed the breaking point. because he just centered at Car Mentalist and there was nothing Car Mentalist could do. He was just a passenger in that one. Bitterly disappointing for both of those drivers.
I think both of them have end plate damage, does look like.
Yeah, they came together for a second time and they both got damage.
Like I've said before, the one who's going to be benefiting from all of this on his new soft tires, Williams of McCrew. He's closing up rapidly on Gary. These guys haven't damaged.
He's looking at a podium here.
Probably. Possibly.
Of course, the cars in third and fourth now are going to be ailing with damage now. Gary has got very old tires. He's going to be struggling near the end of this race. McCrew, by far the best tires out of all of them. Pushing those top two is not going to happen, but if he keeps up this pace, could potentially be looking at a podium. He's got to keep making progress. As Maledictus is off! Maledictus going through Beckett's, I think that is, and he's trying to recover that car and tossed us into the pits. So Nico has decided to gamble and stay out. Car Mentalist.
G is trying into the cookie games for the switchback. Once more, and as McCrew sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:30.0. Midfield battling happening now.
Yeah, Maiji
doing well on his hard test. Cookie games just lost it in front of him.
Whoa!
And that's a massive
huge
crash.
Mistake. Cookie games off.
Just got unsettled turn 2, and yeah, basically lost it there.
Third retirement of the race there for the Slovenian. Behind, we've got Harnweg and Andrew now getting close. Both these guys, similar tyres, similar age, so it's going to be an interesting one to see. Andrew with 1 lap fresher tyres, try and make a move on the Ferrari, but we'll be keeping an eye on McCrew's progress as he closes up to the back of Gary, who is himself rapidly chasing down his teammate. As I'm just like, Car Mentalist has emerged. He's a long way off, 11 seconds actually behind Big W, who's also on that reverse strategy, could be making ground. As a lot of the drivers that didn't have great qualifying, didn't have great start, they're actually running in pretty decent positions just from keeping it clean, keeping out of the incidents, and they're looking good now to get good results here.
One thing I'm wondering though, is Gary gonna be able to make those tires last till the end? It'll be like 23 laps, 22, 23 laps at the end. I'm not too sure on that one. We'll see how he copes with the high tire wear. One thing for certain is that McCrew is closing up.
Most
he'll
definitely.
Be looking to get that P4.
Currently looks like
Irishman.
Closest battle on track seems to be Harnweg and Andrew Lockdock there. The Ferrari and the Renault run through. We'll see if Andrew is able to get this move done. Last season's D3 champion, of course, may still, it's a bit of a hard shot, he might still be the highest placing D3 driver in this race, so Big W is carrying out. It looks like Nico's still able to make decent pace though, out further in front. Adri though doesn't look like he's going to be close enough to Harry, because the last season's D2 driver battling last season's D3 driver, D3 champion I should say more specifically. No way through though for Adri. Has a little look, but no, doesn't quite come off. McCrew not gaining as quickly as I thought he would actually. He is chipping away at that advantage of Gary, who himself is catching Nico a hell of a lot faster, as Dan, Jekyll of course has the penalty, but Dan is the one that's really pushing. He's just briefly got that DRS zone and he's got it again on the exit of Club. So here comes Dan now, and he revives that ILRT battle as Keller now out of the session. He's put up some good defensive work, but ultimately he's never been running in that great of a position. Not the race he'd have been hoping for.
Very close to Harry right now, up to Stowe. I don't think he's close enough just yet, but he might be looking for a move down into Phil, so he gets a better exit after Stowe.
I think he's too far.
He doesn't. Too far indeed.
McCrew now.
4/10 off.
McCrew hassling the back of Gary. Let's see if he's able. He's got decent amount of ERS, a bit more than Gary has. Both these guys rapidly reining in the other racing point of Nico. I don't know if Gary's going to be able to do much here. McCrew now chasing the podium. He's going to close up on the back of Gary Donegan. No, he turns his ERS down actually. Completely down to 0. None on the modes. Again, not going for that move. He's hanging back. Maybe looking for a move down into Stowe. Who knows? because I feel like he could have very easily got that move done and trying to chase on to Nico, but he doesn't have to take too many risks here. He's got plenty of time to get these moves done and establish a gap over these guys as well. Of course, we'll see if these racing points, if there's going to be a bit of team orders there, as Gary might benefit now. He's in that DRS range of his teammate. That might just help him keep behind McCrew. We're going to see now as they go round Chapel. It's not the best run from McCrew. Gary might still be able to stay afloat. He's got that DRS from his teammate. McCrew's still close though. He's reining him in down the straight as well. Is he going to look for it? Into Stone, no, hangs back. Gary now up behind his teammate. Is Nico going to try and fight it? Into Vale, is there going to be any move? Gary looks to the inside, doesn't go for it on the inside though. He's going to hang back. These guys now all in the train as Adri to the outside of Stowe on Harry. Pinches them into the apex. That's a great move from Adri. He's up into P7. Harry's going to try and fight it back though.
McCrew
into Vale, no.
Gary.
McCrew gets through. He's up onto Gary now, and now he's going to try and follow through on Nico. Let's see if he's able to get past this damaged Force India. I keep saying Force India. I'm still not used to Racing Point. It's been all this time. Nico way through turn 4, and that's going to really compromise him. I think this is game, set, and match right there. He's going to try and move over. Defend. Late move there from Nico. McCrew is forced to the outside there. Can he get on the brakes? Nico very late on the brakes again. Switch back from McCrew. Great move. With that, using that grip to his advantage. Nico can't fight it with the damage he has. He put up a decent effort in the end, but McCrew gets through. He's into the podium positions.
Professionally, yeah. But one thing I've just been looking at as the on-track action went on there. McCrew and Gary both have 1 time penalty. Nico doesn't have any. So McCrew, all he needs to do is expand that gap to 3 seconds basically. Not get a penalty, and then he's got a roll in base.
Some brilliant racing going on here between Harry Noirg and Adri. Harry able to regain that place from Adri, but the Moreno was still right on the back of him. To the outside goes Gary on his teammate. Nico doesn't fight it too hard. He knows that really he's just trying to keep his car afloat here on the island. I don't think he's going to be able to stay within that 3 seconds. As to the outside goes Adri once again, and Harry very low on the RS. Doesn't have anything to fight with. The Renault sweeps through, D3 champion up into 7th, but a long way behind the next car, Matty G, who's had a pretty solid race, I've got to be honest. Or what I believe is his debut. Big W still gaining on these guys in that battle for P7. We'll see if he's able to make any inroads. As Adri gets massively out of shape out of club, but there's no way through. As Dan is now right on the back of his fellow LRT driver. This is one I've been looking forward to.
Let's see. Is he gonna go for the move from J. Cole, or is he gonna be sensible? Just stay within his DRS. The Maledictus picks up his like 5th penalty already. Let's see. Harry and Adri just going at it once more.
Harry swoops around the outside of turn 5 to take that position there, and he's got the DRS as well. So Adri, can he fight back though? We'll see. Has a little look into Brooklands. No luck for him there. Nico actually still hanging with Gary here, trying to stay in that DRS range, but Dan close into Stowe, but not close enough. J. Cole, well, he might be flustered. He's got to hope that Dan picks up a penalty here if he wants to win this race, because Dan has closed this gap. Again, I said it after the qualifying. Even though he qualified well, he's always better in the race than he is in qualifying, and he showed that today, closing that gap to J. Cole, who looked imperious in qualifying, 2.5 tenths clear. Now, Adri wide at a Chapel, that might cost his chances, but again, Harry not very quick down that straight past goes Adri, and Harry doesn't fight it too hard. Dan half a second away from the leader J. Cole. He's got that DRS, but he's not going to gain enough. He's got more ERS than his rival, and of course that penalty advantage, but I think let's be honest, Dan's a racer like all of us. He wants to get it done on the track. We'll see if he's able to get the move through. He's still half a second behind J. Cole.
Of course, and let's see, this 3.5 laps for him remaining to the last. Let's see, I think Harry and Adri might be close once more, going for the next straight onto Wellington. Let's see, he's gonna get the DRS. Adri got the better exit, and it doesn't look like Harry is close enough. These have showed some tremendous racing.
Certainly, just like we saw from Nico and Carmentos until the unfortunate collision they had. Dan is getting ever closer to his teammate now. Well, I say teammate, quote unquote, ILRT. Both of them, of course, part of that organisation. But yeah, Jekyll's still able to hold on, but he's coming under increasing pressure and low on ERS. I think it's Morgan round because he's just dropped back there from Mark. That's where the yellows were coming from. As Dan, if he really wanted it, he could have went for a move, but he is being sensible about this. He knows he's got that advantage on Jekyll through the penalties, and Jekyll gets a pretty good exit coming off of turn 4. That might just be it. We'll see. DRS though is going to bring Dan back in. Is there going to move into Brooklands? He's still very far back though. No way through. He's keeping his DRS down. I don't think he's taking too many risks here. He just wants... looks like he's going to try and get to the finish safe and sound, which is fair enough. He's got that advantage. I'm just going to do a quick check of the race director. Dan with just the one warning. That's very, very impressive. Keeping it nice and clean. But he's still chasing that win on track. Of course, he can afford to let loose a little bit. It's unlikely he's going to get 2 warnings in 2 laps, but we will see. Still very close to Jekyll now as they come up onto the hangar straight.
Let's see. He's going to try and make a move. He's got to run. He puts it into high mix. He's pulling towards the inside of Stowe. Can he make this stick?
Ooh.
Let's see, a lot of respect between the two. Coming close, but Jekyll holds it, and I don't think Dan went full committed to that.
Not, and he shouldn't really, given the position that he's in.
Exactly.
But still a good fight between these two rounds though. Jekyll, good defence from the outside line, able to keep that. Still looking further behind. Harry still hassling Hadri. These guys, it's just been a slugfest between these guys. Absolutely going at it. Doesn't look like Big W is making the inroads he needs to if he wants it. Gary picks up yet another penalty. That might spill him. Well, that might put him in a bit of trouble in regards to his teammate. He's got to pull 6 seconds on there, which I don't think it's not going to happen. Matty G, yeah, that's a good shout actually.
I'll check on his penalties. Matty G has 1 penalty, so he's still safe from that. But gotta be careful. Can't afford to lose too many because of track extension and whatsoever.
Yeah, he's just got to watch that indeed. But still the battle between the Renault and the Ferrari. See Big W and that Williams. Not going to be close enough. Harry's much closer this time to Adri though. He's got 1 lap older tyres, but he's still picking up the fight. He's going to go potentially down into Brooklands. He looks to the inside line. Now he dives it on the brakes. Adri.
But okay. Dan's Jekyll round the outside of Stowe.
Doesn't come off.
Can't hold it just yet. We're heading on to the last lap of the race. And, one heck of battling on track basically. It's just been mad.
Yeah, it's been very much enthralling as Dan and Jekyll onto the final lap. Pretty much nose to tail. It's a shame the penalty for Jekyll does put a bit of a damper on this, but hopefully these guys will still go at it regardless. There, Jekyll a little bit offline. Going into turn 4, rescues it. Now it's all about the exit there. Who grabs it that little bit better? Jekyll's got a bit of an advantage here. And Dan is put in overtake mode. He might be going for this, you know. He's closing, but I think it's still a very ambitious move if he wants it. And he's not going to do anything silly. Not on this final lap with that advantage that he has. But I think if the opportunity presents itself, he'll try and go for it. Jekyll will be kicking himself after the penalty, I think.
Watch it. He's closing up.
Great run. To the outside of Cops. No way does he pull this off. They're side by side Cops. Better contact, but it's pretty clean as Dan has pulled off a spectacular move on the final lap of this race. Wow, I did not expect that. No, coming out of nowhere. I think Jekyll wasn't expecting that either. Can he fight back though? These guys still going at it. The DRS now is open. Can Jekyll come back? He's been humiliated round the outside of Cops, and now he's going to strike back inside of Stowe now. Can he be later on the brakes? Dan still holds it. He's got good momentum on that outside line. Can he hold it out? No, he runs out onto the curb. He's still there though, inside of Vale. Late braking though for Jekyll. He shuts the door and he rescues his win on track. Or does he? Dan trying to fight it back. Not quite. Jekyll comes over the line, but Dan wins it on penalties. Great racing on the final lap. What a move from Dan there, and a great fight back from Jekyll as well. It's a shame. It is a shame that Jekyll had that penalty, because wow, that would have been an enthralling finale to this race. McCrew is going to come through for a brilliant podium ahead of Gary.
Still down the inside of Adri. We're
And
P7.
can he pull that one off? Adri holds it round the outside. They're still wheel to wheel. Into Vale. Who's later on the brakes? Harry's got that advantage. Does he run deep? No, I don't think he has. Adri looks to get a switchback. Harry holds it down as Nico gets fours ahead of Gary, just ahead of Matty G. If he hadn't had that penalty, he might have made it work, as Adri ends up getting Harry on the penalties just from Big W. Carmentalist, after that incident, gutted for him because he was having a great race up until that point. It wasn't really his fault. Mark and Morgan look like they're going to round out the points finishers. Callum and Maledictus, the last of the finishers. Woo! Woo, that was some race. Really enjoyed that one. As Morgan actually beats Mark on penalties. Interesting, but yeah, Dan takes the win, makes a statement ahead of this season.
Is out of fuel.
Oh no! Oh. He's got it in 8th gear. He's absolutely coasting. Callum comes over the line in P13 in his first race. Go on, Mallow, we'll believe in you. He's got 90 seconds to get over the line.
I think he should be able to make that.
Look at the crowd in the background cheering him on.
You'd love to see it.
Here we go. Oh, look at him lifting off going into the field. On the power. 95 kilometers an hour, 96, 97, 98. Can he hit 100 before the line? Of course he can. What? Yeah. Oh no, he's backed off again, down into 6th gear, over the line.
He rounds off grids, at least the finishing grids for this race.
Yeah, wow, what a thriller. Dan, though, of course, this race means nothing for the championship, but we're able to see where everyone's at. And those two ILRT guys, well, they proved to be the class of the field, both in qualifying and in the race. So I think they'll be ones to watch for this next season. But of course, anything can happen. We've shown, especially in qualifying, this is a very close division. So looking forward to it. But it is Dan who's going to take it, and of course get that, potentially that psychological advantage going to the next season, as Jekyll and McCrew round out the podium. Just running through the results now. Dan takes the win from Jekyll in a hard fought battle. McCrew gets a very well done 3rd place out of Nico. Got himself a bit of a scrappy race from him, but he showed just how quick he is. He comes home ahead of Gary, Matty, Adri and Harry with an absolutely incredible battle in those final laps. They come home ahead of Big W. Good progress up the grid from him. Carmentalist gets 10th just ahead of B Morgan, who beats Mark, on penalties. Callum comes home in a quiet 13th. Maledictus, a messy race from him in 14th there. Killer Blue, Cookie, and just looking at the stream, a couple of other guys weren't able to make the checkered flag. So yeah, that's going to round things off. Well, very enjoyable race to watch there. Not the cleanest, gotta be honest, but yeah, certainly a fun one to commentate on, that's for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. Some great on-track battling. For example, Nico and Carmentalist for a while. Adrian, Harry as well. And of course, last lap, Dan and Jekyll put up a spectacular fight. At least that overtake from Dan was pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that is for sure. So yeah, that is gonna wrap everything up. I've been Daka, he's been Verstappen. Hope everyone's enjoyed this. We certainly did. So yeah, gonna see you guys later. Goodbye.